Well, hello students. Welcome back. This is Coach Holliday, and today we're doing our review on absolute value equations and inequalities and solving them. Just have your notes out. We're going to run through these examples. What I'm going to do is just put the example up there, give you a moment to see if you can work the problem, then I'll put the answer up with the full solution, and you can check that out and see how you did, okay? So your first example is to solve the absolute value of negative 3x plus 6 equals 9. Remember, you're going to make two equations out of this, solve each of the equations, okay? So go ahead, work on this, and when you get done, turn the video back on. Okay, your solution should have been x equals negative 1 and x equals 5. If that's not what you got, then take just a moment, look at the example, and look and see where you had mistakes or ran into some trouble, and go ahead and correct it, okay? Alright, let's move on to example 2. Example 2 says negative 4 times the absolute value of x plus 2 minus 5 equals 15. Now remember, with this, you're going to have to solve for absolute value first, and then you can work the absolute value problem out, okay? Go ahead and take a couple minutes to work this. When you get finished, go ahead and pause the video. When you get finished, go ahead and unpause the video and check and see how you did. Okay, now this one may have caught you by surprise. There is no solution to this one. The reason is because if you'll notice, after I add 5 to both sides and then divide by negative 4, my absolute value of x plus 2 equals negative 5. And remember, absolute value is a distance from 0. It has nothing to do with the direction, which is what your sign tells you. So if it turns out to be a negative number, we can't work it, because if you take the absolute value of anything, the answer is going to be a positive answer, okay? So that was a little trick question in there, and I wanted to throw that in there for a little new learning, okay? Well, let's go on to example number 3. Example number 3 says the absolute value of 5x minus 10 is less than or equal to 20. Now we're working with an inequality. Remember, as long as the absolute value is by itself, you can go ahead and break this into two inequalities. And remember, the key thing is when you multiply or divide by a negative number, you're going to have to flip that inequality. So one of your equations, you're going to have to flip the inequality, okay? So take just a moment, work through this problem, and pause the video. And when you get done, go ahead and turn the video back on and check and see how you did. Okay, so you should have gotten x was less than or equal to 6, and x was greater than or equal to negative 2. Remember, when my inequality starts out with less than or equal to, it's going to be an and statement, and I'm going to write it with the x in between the inequalities, okay? Your graph is going to be a barbell, and the solution comes from between that barbell, or on the edges of the barbell if it's an equal also, okay? Hopefully you did well on this. If you have any questions, you can ask them in class tomorrow. Alright, now let's go ahead and move on to the last one of your examples, and that's to solve 2 times the absolute value of x minus 1 plus 1 is greater than 5. Now I'll give you a little hint here. It's greater than, so therefore this is going to be an or statement. It's not going to be the and statement, it's going to be the or statement, okay? So go ahead, pause the video, take a couple minutes to work this out, and then turn the video back on and see how you did. Okay, how'd you do? The solutions were x is less than negative 1 or x is greater than 3. Remember, with a greater than in the original problem with absolute value gives you an or statement, and it also gives you your graph as arrows pointing away from each other. So there's going to be an open spot in between the solutions that doesn't work, okay, where your solutions won't be. Alright, hopefully this went well for you. If not, then make sure you have questions ready to ask in class tomorrow. We want you to complete the WISC, and then be prepared to discuss this lesson in class tomorrow when you get to class, okay? Have a great evening, and we will see you tomorrow in class.